Hey, hey guys. Just wanna. I'm wondering if I've gone live right now, guys. I am incredibly excited, full of gratitude for this opportunity to come to you guys live from the LinkedIn platform and across a couple of other social media. Across a couple of other social media platforms. Excuse me. I was just checking that I've gone live. All right, guys. So thank you so much. If anyone is going to join us today, like I was just saying, I'm incredibly grateful and chuffed that I have this opportunity to come to you guys and share a little bit of my experience, strength, and hope. I'm a man in recovery. I've been abstinent from drugs and alcohol for well over a decade now. And one of the things I've learned over the past 11 years is that I'm able to live a life free from drugs, and I want to share some of those tips and hacks with you guys. Now, one of the things I'd like to share a little tip with you first, okay? And this is a tip that I picked up from a couple of amazing connections from the LinkedIn platform. I want to give a shout out to Ahmed and Imam. Ahmed, you have been very helpful. And also I'd like to acknowledge Sally Illingworth too. But one of the tips I want to share with you right now, and the reason I'm going to ask you this is I'd like to ask anyone out there who's going to watch. We've got no one live with me at the moment, but if anyone is going to watch and jump on, please let me know, okay? Where are you coming in from, okay? If you're watching this live and I can tell that nobody is at the moment, please let me know. And if you're coming in and you're watching the replay, please also let me know that you're doing that. Now, guys, one of the things that I've picked up in my past 18 months on the LinkedIn platform is that I've been sharing my experiences around addiction, sharing about the social and emotional impacts that addiction can have on, both our families and ourselves. And one of the things that I've noticed is that people out there, amazingly enough, love to hear stories of recovery and I guess victory from drugs and alcohol. So I love to share some of those experiences. And today I want to talk about a few things with you guys. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about how I managed to maintain my level of happiness and gratitude in my day-to-day life. One of the things that people often say to me, Danny, is you smile too much. How are you always happy? And I want to share with you that that was not always the case. In fact, my early days of recovery, I got clean from drugs and alcohol on the 15th of September 2009. Now, I had been trying for 17 years on the streets, using, abusing any type of substance to get sobriety. Not sobriety, but to change my life. There was no possibility even in the near future that anything was going to happen like that. Then I stumbled into recovery on the 15th of September 2009, and I got a rude shock. In fact, I had not had a feeling for a long time, 17 years. So one of the things I want to share with you guys today and is how I managed to maintain my levels of happiness and gratitude. Now, let me say that in the beginning, it was certainly not an easy feat for me to do. In the beginning, I was full of anxiety. I was full of fear. I was sad. I was mad. I was angry. But look, we often hear this and it's such a cliche thing, but one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, just 24-hour chunks of the day, I began to change my life. And that's why I'm here for you guys today. Is one thing that I've learned, even though a lot of us out there, certainly on the LinkedIn platform, suffering from, well, that's debatable, but from addictions, addiction is spread so wide. We could talk about food, we could talk about drinking, we could talk about gambling, sex, overeating. But what I want to share with you is how I maintain to keep that level of sobriety and also a level of happiness as I move forward. So guys, one of the things I love to say, and I think this is really important, is I do everything with recovery and personal development in mind first. It's 51% life, 51% recovery and personal development, and 49% life. So what that means when I say that is all I'm doing always is putting my recovery first. Now, I think in the early days of change, It's really hard to do something like that. And I must admit, like in the early days of my transformation, they told me to do so many things and it felt so overwhelming. I thought, how am I ever going to change? But like I said, one foot in front of the other, slowly, little chunks. I started to implement tips and tricks into my life, and they are some of the things I want to share with you guys today. So today, for example, exercise is a massive part of my daily program. Kindness is another really important part of my program. I talk about service regularly. When I talk about service, I'm talking about what am I giving back to the human race. We can't just expect to receive from the universe. I believe that it's that stuff that I do on a daily basis. It's good. Look, guys, we've got a couple of people commenting. Excuse me for not responding. Thank you so much. We've got Matt. Love you, brother. So glad to see you too. Guys, please just give me a moment to go through some of these questions. Jean, hello, Jean. I missed this point. It's my first time on live. Greg, thank you so much for attending, mate. I'm glad I caught the first one. You're a legend, brother. Stuart Little, what's he got to say? Hey, Danny, good on you, Stu. Thank you so much. Matt Perkins, you've been such a supportive brother to me, mate. David, thank you so much, man. Nice to see you. Michael Hayes, you're a legend, Michael. Thank you so much for joining me too. Look, you guys are amazing. Now I feel much more engaged. It was really difficult. I'm looking up on the screen. I've got one live person here. Hang on, let's acknowledge a few other people here. David, thank you so much. Need to find a way to be happier. Guys, look, I think I've got a solution. Okay, one of the things, Ahmed, thank you so much for attending, my brother, mate. Guys, one of the things, I get a little bit excited, eh? David, one moment at a time. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it is just 30-second chunks. So, guys, one of the things that on my LinkedIn profile, and I want to share a little bit about this, like I'm labeled myself a gratitude maker and a sobriety king. Now, I think it's important to acknowledge the A because I'm just saying I'm one of many, okay? But one of the things I believe I can do today, and I've got a little bit of a recipe and a solution on how to become a happier, more grateful person one day at a time, Now, the stuff that I just covered, I think exercise, kindness, service, connection, the opposite to addiction is connection. So the more we connect with other human beings, the happier I am. Now, when I talk about mental, spiritual, and physical, there's some other elements that I want to catch. Let me just see, am I missing anything else here? Thank you so much. And I love sharing my story. Thank you all you guys who are jumping on and supporting me. This is amazing. All right, so as I mentioned in the beginning, if you didn't jump on in the beginning, please let me know where you're coming from. One of the amazing things about the LinkedIn platform, and guys, I know you guys would be experiencing this, but I've taken advantage of the LinkedIn platform ridiculously. I have been able to, in the last 12 months, connect with human beings from all over the world. Forget about COVID. Actually, sorry, I don't want to minimize anybody else's stuff with COVID, but for me, it hasn't affected me. I've been able to work wonderfully using the online platform. A little tip that I'd love to share with you is use the audio feature too. Look, this isn't a LinkedIn training platform show anyway. This is about me just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. Guys, look, thanks so much for the engagement. So, look, let's touch on exercise first. If we're going to set up a good, healthy, solid foundation, I named the show Under Construction with Danny. What I'm talking about under construction is also my life is ever changing. It's ever evolving. The minute I think I've got it, I've just lost it, yeah? So I think keeping that in mind, I need to work on myself every single day. It's my mission as a human being to become a better person each day. One of the little tricks that I use every single day, guys, and let me share this with you. This is an incredibly powerful tool, okay? At the end of each day, and I shit you not, I do this every single day. At the end of each day, I say to myself, Danny, what did you do good today? I go, okay, well, look, I was brave. I jumped on LinkedIn today. I've spoken to my mum. I've spoken to my daughter. I seen my dad yesterday. I acknowledge the good things that I did today. It's important to acknowledge our assets always, okay? Secondly, I like to say to myself, well, Danny, what could you have done better tomorrow? Like what can I work on tomorrow to become that better human being that I discussed earlier. And I think there's always important for me to, if there's nothing, you're probably missing the point. There must be something I can work on. And then I love, and this is not a religious thing in any way, but I love to share, pray for my family, my friends. I pray for motivation. I pray for my fear to be removed, because as a human being, as a man in recovery, I'm abstinent from drugs and alcohol for well over a decade. I'm still scared shitless, It's not my default to have courage and to be brave. So again, that's another thing I really want to touch on, is that courage and being brave on a daily basis all adds to our levels of gratitude. Let me check in with some of these comments here. Mark, thanks so much for jumping on. Good on you, Mark. You're a legend. Dale, thanks for joining me, mate. Perth, good on you, brother. Love Perth. I've done a little bit of stuff in Perth. Thank you so much, LinkedIn user. Guys, from Philadelphia. I was in Philadelphia, Rob. Good to hear from you, brother. I think you and I have chatted on a LinkedIn audio message some time ago. Guys, so look, as I was mentioning before, like, we want to improve and increase our levels of happiness. And this is just my tips for today's show, I guess. And as I move forward over the coming weeks, I would love to keep answering questions. One of the posts, in my post prior to releasing this LinkedIn Live, I asked people if they would like to send me a private message on a question related to addiction, maybe for their family or for themselves. I understand it's a personal subject and we don't want to announce that, so I'm not going to announce that, absolutely. But I did have one gentleman ask me a private, personal question, and the question was, what changed for you, Danny, when you finally decided to give up? And I love this question, actually, because it actually gets me really excited, and I hope I can add some value to all of you guys out there, because this question is something I get asked very often. And I do believe that every single one of us is affected by addiction or alcoholism or gambling or overeating in some way. So I'd love to just let you know that to answer that question, what changed for me is, and my biggest, strongest message I can share with you guys is, do not ever give up. If you're a family member, and I think about some precious LinkedIn connections when I say that, who I've had many deep discussions about, but if you're a family member giving up on your loved ones, I just want to say sometimes it's really important we absolutely look after ourselves, look after yourselves, but please don't ever completely give up, because if my mum, if she ever gave up, I may not be here, but I want to say that what changed for me is I made a different decision, and I only made that different decision because I was in the right place at the right time. If I had have given up on my journey or on my vision, or that tiny little bit of fantasy or hope that one day I could stop using drugs, I may not have ever been in the right position that day to make a different decision. So what changed for me is, it's really this simple, okay? I was standing on a corner. I was standing at the crossroads. It's so metaphoric, but it's so beautiful. I was standing at the crossroads. I'd been given so much advice on what I needed to do, but I had had so much habitual experience of doing the same thing over again. And I made a different decision for the first time in my life. It was the bravest decision I've ever made. But let me tell you this, right? The day and the minute I made that decision, actually for the next 3 days, it felt like I was all over the place, but that was the day my life completely changed. For the first time, I didn't pick up that first drink. I didn't pick up that first drug. And slowly, one day at a time, 11 years later, I've continued to build a beautiful and wonderful life. So my message and my answer to that question is, what changed for you, is I'd like to say that I made a different decision for the first time. And guys, I also just want to highlight that do not ever give up. Sorry, Rob, I've left you up on the screen there, mate. Any other questions here? Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Adam. Good man, thank you. Hi, Lorraine. Nice to see you too, Lorraine. Guys, so look, let me go through that list again that I want to touch on, because this is stuff I'm all really passionate about too, okay? Excuse me, I'll try and highlight. All right. Exercise is something that I do in my daily routine. Now, when building a daily routine, yeah, you think about it's quite overwhelming, okay? Now, my options to build a daily routine this time in recovery when minimal. Like, if I didn't change something dramatically, I was never gonna make it, So sometimes think about the severity of what we want to change, I think. And for me, it was important to have a system, a process, almost a daily plan. There was actually a piece of paper in my early days called the 24-hour plan. I used to write down what I needed to do first. And, I want to say that I'm involved in a community of people in recovery regularly, and I very often hear about people waking up and doing a motivational reading, and then drinking a glass of water, and then eating healthy. Look, that's not my daily plan at all, and never has been. But I'm going to give it to you straight, right? I wake up. It's my default as a human being to fight, to be fearful, and go, I want to go back to sleep. I tell myself to shut up, and I get up. Procrastination is the thief of time. We can procrastinate. And let me tell you, I jump on phone. I jump on social media. I'm a bad social media addict. But I needed to develop the daily routine. And what I wanted to touch on was exercise was something that became really important to me. Hey, Georgia. Georgia, it's beautiful to hear from you too. Thank you so much for your regular support. Also, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the live. Guys, setting up a morning, excuse me, Georgia. Setting up a morning routine was essential. So I've got to say that I've found a solution to a wonderful, happy life, okay? Exercise is really important for me in the morning. Let me share another hot tip with you, and I know that this works 100%, is be kind, okay? Be brave, reach out, say hello to someone in the street today. Say hello to the shopkeeper. Say, how are you going to the lady behind the coffee counter when you're ordering a coffee? It's also my default to get really uncomfortable. I am so good at small talk, but when it comes to that deep and intimate stuff, it's difficult. But that's okay, because I acknowledge that I'm really good at small talk, and I take advantage of that stuff on a daily basis. So kindness is something that I think is really important. And I wonder if you can learn to be kinder. It's something I often wonder, because I talk to a lot of people about kindness on a daily basis. And I know my brother Ahmed is very passionate about kindness. Service to human beings, or service to the human race. I just want to touch on that also. When I give back, there's this thing, right? And I don't know how this is going to go, but life is a selfish program. Let me say life is a selfish program, but the more we give, the more we receive, and we keep what we have by giving it away. That's my little philosophy. I got that from somewhere related to recovery, but it's true. Like, I keep what I have today by giving it away. So what that means is, when I'm talking about service to the human race, every single little thing that I can do for somebody else is really exciting, and it gives back. It does. It makes me happy. It all comes back to that gratitude, yeah, and connection with other human beings. It goes back to that thing I was talking about, kindness around sharing and saying hello to somebody else in the street. Guys, I'm sorry. Look, I'm getting a little bit off track. One of the things, let me just finish with this, all right? I want to say thank you so much to everyone on here. I need to probably end this soon. It's been 18 minutes, but let me share a little bit about my journey. A man in recovery from drugs and alcohol, haven't had a drink or a drug or a mind or mood altering substance for 11 years, 2 months, and let's say 2 weeks. I haven't checked the counter. I've got a counter on my phone. It's important that we acknowledge every day, because guess what? Every single day is a milestone for each and every single one of us, okay? But my journey also, 5 years ago, I came up with this idea. I just want to talk a little bit about Encapsulator. Okay, just a quick pitch. And I'm not trying to sell anything here. I just want to share with you guys how wonderful LinkedIn has been. If any of you guys out there, please, if anyone else is watching, I can't see if anyone's still alive, but has anyone ever heard of Encapsulator? The amazing thing is, LinkedIn and all my social media stuff has given me an ability to educate and inform people about this wonderful idea I came up with, recording video messages to your future self. I celebrated a milestone. Great to hear you here. Wonderful day, Dave. Thank you, Georgia. Oh, you're a legend. Thank you so much, Georgia. Yeah, so I celebrated 5 years more clean and sober on the 15th of September 2016. I was sitting in my office. I'm sitting in the office of the rehabilitation centre that I went through 5 years earlier. Okay, I'm sitting there, I'm full of gratitude, feeling amazing, excited. And I was thinking, wow, I wonder what I was like when I entered this place. What was I thinking? How was I feeling? As a man in recovery, I often like to think about the good times, but I forget about the bad times. And I tell my story so often, and I really couldn't identify with how trashed and how weird and how gone I was when I first came in. So I came up with this idea to record a video message to myself for my next big milestone for 10 years. I did a little bit of research on some questions that you might answer in the old school time capsule. If anyone out there is still watching, please let me know if you've ever been involved in a time capsule, maybe at school or anything like that. I did a little bit of research on a time capsule, and I bought a camera and I started the camera rolling. Okay, and here's the magic. Like, I started answering these questions on camera, and I noticed this amazing therapeutic, unique feeling of recording a message to my future self. Immediately I thought, I can give this to all the boys coming through our service, giving them an ability to document, track, reflect on their progress, a tool to measure personal growth, personal development. So often the guys come up to me in the early days of recovery and they say, Danny, like, when are things going to get better? Like, when are things going to change for me? Well, now I can say, well, actually, John, you recorded a video back then. When is it due to open? And then I can give them this tool where they can measure their growth. It also helps individuals and clients to reflect on their present moment and record their hopes, their dreams, their goals, their fears, and their future aspirations, all locked away securely in our time-locked vault. The countdown begins, waiting to be discovered at a date in the future. Guys, if you're still watching, I can't tell. I'm not that experienced on this on this platform. But if you're still watching, please let me know if I've added any value. One thing that I always get told, and I'm very, very grateful for this, is my spirit is strong. I know it's strong. Actually, it's not. I don't get told, Danny, you're spiritually strong, but I get told that you smile a lot. You're very happy, and I do believe that some of the stuff that I've covered today can help people to increase their levels of happiness. I talked about those 5 things: exercise, kindness, service, connection. We're talking about a mental, spiritual, and physical element of our daily routine. So, guys, it's my pleasure to come live with you guys. Please let me know if you'd like to join next week, because I will be here next week. One of the things, and this goes back to courage, that I've learned is that if you don't jump in, and if you don't take a risk, and if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to learn. Well, you're going to learn the hard way. And it's amazing how much progress and how much traction and how much visibility and how much connection I've had with people from all over the world. In fact, right, I've been in touch with somebody in Singapore this morning. I've spoken to somebody in America this morning. Actually, it was New York. Probably another person. When I'm at the gym, I touch base with a lot of people with the audio message. So, guys, these are all little recipes to increase your levels of happiness. Next week, I'd love to share an experiment in gratitude. I've got a little workshop that we can do around increasing your levels of happiness. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know. Michael, great tips on how to maintain mindset and positive attitude. Thank you, brother. Look, do you know what, Michael? Like, all I know is, I don't know if you noticed, but at the top of this post, I mentioned that I've got 98,000 hours of lived experience around personal development and recovery. And the one thing I do know for a fact is I'm absolutely no expert in anything, but I am a happier guy, okay? And I work my ass off. Not that it feels like I work my ass off, but daily to maintain that level of happiness. And I think there's a lot. I think the hard way is the easy way. So what I'm talking about is the more effort we put in the long run, it's going to pay off, and it's going to become much, much easier for you to Yeah, thanks so much, Lorraine. It's wonderful to chat with you. I'm so glad you get to hear a little bit about me. And guys, if anyone else out there would like to chat with me personally, privately, please. One thing that I'm really good at is send me an audio message, or you can just send me a text message. I'll probably reply with audio. I take advantage of the audio feature, and one of the biggest things I'm most passionate about is helping other people who might be struggling in any way, whether you're a family member. Actually, I'm even more passionate about helping family members because being 11 years down the track and working a program of giving back and helping and making amends, let me put it out there, I realised the impact of addiction can have on my family. So it means the world to me to be able to give back to anybody out there. So please feel free to reach out to me. I am going to wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much to every single one of my LinkedIn connections. This platform has changed my life, absolutely. I've been involved. Look, I'm going to go again. Look, I'm not going to go. But if anyone would like to see a short documentary about the impacts of addiction and an interview with my family, I'd like to drop it in the comment section, okay? I'm also going to drop another link to another video about the work that I do and let you guys check it out if you haven't already. That's all. But guys, look, my main point for being here today is just to carry the message of recovery. You know, I love to give back. The more I give, the more I believe the universe is going to provide. Thank you so much, every single one of you. And I'm gonna cut it off there. See yous.